We're not competing with Anthropic. Anthropic is an amazing company. I think they deserve every single success they've achieved, and we have very happy customers. We put Claude in all our products. Perplexity Computer is powered by Claude, and we are constantly working together with them on like giving them valuable feedback along the way. And I don't see it as zero sum at all. Like we are going after a completely different market, completely different sort of use cases around research and like building businesses and things like that. And they're going after the developer market. So they're a frontier model lab and we're a product company. So I think there's a tremendous amount of difference between the two companies. And in terms of marketing, like you have to be creative. You're a smaller player. I like to believe that small players like Perplexity can still be winning. And I like to believe that our success gives hope to even smaller players than us to, be creative all the time. That's why we built this product, to always seek that extra edge that people might just assume you cannot do because you don't have the
Merab! Thanks, bro. I'm trying it out, to be honest. I'm trying it out. I usually stream on YouTube, but I thought, why not try it out on X as well, which is cool because I could do both at the same time. So I'm not sure if it's working or if you're hearing me correctly. I'm not sure how it works. So yeah. Love you, bro. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much for the support. You're the first one. Actually, I want to screenshot this because you're the first one to comment and you're the first one to support. Each and every time, you're the first one to support in everything people do on this space. I love that. I love that. You can mainstream. I tried on Abstract, but it's somehow it got rejected. I'm not sure why. I did try on Abstract, but it got so the stream did not go through on StreamYard. So I'm not sure why this happened. And I don't know how many viewers I've got. I see 10 here. Look at that. Look at this beautiful ape. Look at that beautiful ape. Love you, bro. Love you, bro. Send me your ass wallet to send it to engineers. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, wow, you're adorable. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, I'll do it. So wait, let me, so Abstract. Okay, I'll try to do it. Send you the wallet. I'll DM you the wallet after my stream. So it's yeah. So yeah, I would love your help with that because it got rejected. I tried it out, but somehow it did not go through. Yeah. So but it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Hi guys, hope you're having an amazing day. I'm starting with this new. I'm trying it out. I'm gonna start next week. I'm starting with this new stream on X and on YouTube. It's gonna be about the markets. So I'm really passionate about the markets, and I feel that a lot of people are asking me kind of guidance on stocks, which is something that was pretty uncommon. But with everything that's been happening in the stock market, I feel that the stock market has become kind of a crypto market. So it's become kind of an altcoin market with all these tickers jumping like 20%, 30%, 40%. And it's crazy because like literally a year ago, we would not have imagined, like 2 years ago maybe, we would not have imagined that the stock market would become so volatile. And by volatile, I mean positively volatile, right? Because stocks are pumping. And we're seeing a lot of movement in small caps, which is really amazing because you get to jump into a stock and make your 10, 20, even 30% on the day and get out. And it's just easy. Is it gonna last? I don't think so. But can we take advantage right now? Definitely can. So make sure to have. I mean, it's not financial advice. I'm not incentivizing you to trade. Trading can be very dangerous. It can lead to losses, etc. Blah 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 blah. That's the financial lawyer side. But on the practical side, come on, guys. I mean, you gotta have this brokerage account, stock trading account that helps you access the market, basically trade options, stocks. They just issued a new rule starting July 13th. You're going to be able to literally to trade most of the major option chains. Where is that charger? Most of the major option chains literally on a not on a 24-hour basis, but on an extended basis. Just hang on a second. On an extended basis. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if you're familiar with options, though. Not many are familiar with options. Someone asked me today, said, "Hey, what do you think about ETH?" Hi, YouTube Live is far more better than yeah, that definitely. Oh, definitely. TikTok is bullshit. Not gonna lie, TikTok is bullshit. And here I can share screen. It's much more interactive. It's beautiful. Someone asked me today, guys. Told me, hey, by the way, what do you think about ETH? And that guy is literally a co-founder in one of the biggest, the biggest financial institution worldwide, actually. It's one of the biggest firms, trading firms out there, really big firm. And he's a co-founder. And I was chatting with that guy, tells me, what do you think about ETH? I mean, we were talking about the repricing of gold. Anyway, that's a technical topic. That's not the point. We were talking about literally the repricing of gold, and then we moved to another topic. Okay, if Trump wants to reevaluate basically or reprice the gold reserves that the US has, it's going to generate around $1.9 trillion in surplus. And that $1.9 trillion is going to have to be allocated somewhere, right? If he decides to basically sell some of the gold or even just reprice and then generate financing from that repricing of the gold. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. The point is, he will have basically liquidity to deploy into something. And so the question is, what is he going to go for? And my thought process is, and that's what he said. He said, whenever Trump says something, he actually does it. And a lot of people can criticize. I know a lot of people can have mixed feelings about President Trump, but at the same time, I mean, the guy said something, he did it. And you could argue, inflation went up. Yeah, it did. But that's just because that's geopolitics, guys. Honestly, that's something that you needed to do for other reasons. But to the point that Trump does do what he says. Well, he did. Market is at an all-time high. Opportunities are there. AI is roaring. All US companies are getting more business, hiring more. And to be honest, if you look at employment, come on. Who would have thought that in an era of AI, employment would be going up? Yes, it's stagnant, but I would have thought it would have been destroyed by now, and it's far from being destroyed. So he for Dell, for example, literally a month ago, he says, go and buy Dell. Dell goes up 28%. Yes, you could argue market manipulation, you could argue insider trading, whatever. The guy is telling you what to do. You could just go and do it and then make money on top of it. And so when he says, I'm circling back to my point, when he says I'm long, I'm not gonna let go of crypto, I'm never letting go of crypto, he's never letting go of crypto. I mean, this is pretty much clear by now. I mean, he's never letting go of crypto. Come on. I mean, do we understand that the guy literally built his whole dynamic around giving more wealth to people, and he's doing that. I really think that once he reprices gold, and this is why gold is like still at certain levels, not going below it, because I think the US is waiting to finalize the geopolitical situation so that they could focus on repricing gold and then moving from gold standards, from the gold standard, not as a concept because it ended in 1972, but from a practical gold standard to a Bitcoin standard. And I think it's going to happen. I really deeply think it's going to happen. I mean, 21 million Bitcoins. I was against Bitcoin. In 2021, I was against Bitcoin. I thought, yeah, what? This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I mean, a digital asset that you could replace at any point, technology is bullshit. I mean, we have to agree, and some people will come and argue saying, hey, no, Bitcoin has an amazing tech. No, bro, it does not. It does not. It does not. It does not scale. It's not as fast as you might want it to be, especially now with AI, with data transfers becoming faster and faster. You're looking at photonics. You're looking at so much technology when it comes to data transfer that you cannot even argue that Bitcoin is amazing technology. It's not amazing technology, with all due respect. However, when there is adoption, you cannot argue. So 2021, there was no adoption. The government was fighting Bitcoin. No one was adopting Bitcoin. Retail was pushing Bitcoin. There were a few people pushing Bitcoin, but that was about it. Fast forward 2026, we are in a totally different situation. And that situation created kind of an overall agreement that Bitcoin could be some kind of reserve. Now, I don't want to go into the geopolitics of things, but I just want to explain, just want to say that, if you have an agreement between these three major powers that are kind of controlling the planet right now, I think you might have some kind of centralized, weirdly centralized reserve being implemented through a decentralized coin. So imagine a centralized reserve being implemented through a decentralized coin. And so I think Bitcoin will have a role to play. I think Ethereum will follow. Ethereum has been literally, check the chart. I wish next time I'm going to go on a live and I'm going to share with you the chart for Ethereum. And I want you to take a look at the Ethereum chart and just see how it's been performing. It's been moving. It's literally been moving around the 200-day moving average, and it crossed up to a major support level. It pumped from there, 1800, pumped back to 2000, and it's sitting there. It's sitting waiting for a catalyst. But this time, if a catalyst would come, if there's a catalyst that would actually move the market, so for example, if a real Bitcoin or crypto reserve is announced, if a real adoption happens, and remember, Trump did say a month ago, I want all administrations to start preparing for crypto payments. Do you think that before the end of his mandate, he's not gonna implement a full crypto ecosystem for the government? If you literally doubt that, in my opinion, you're not analyzing correctly, and you're being a bit naive about how Trump is gonna maneuver this. So yeah, I do think that Bitcoin, Ethereum are gonna have a major position in the future. I think NFTs, why is my, yeah, I think I need to do it this way because I need the crown to show. Yeah. So I think NFTs are gonna play, yo, greetings. I think NFTs are gonna play a big role in the next phase. Why? And I'm gonna explain why I'm bullish on NFTs. A lot of people think that NFTs are just JPEGs and people playing with JPEGs. And I've started accumulating NFTs. I mean, I started in 2021, but then I exited and then I came back. I kept NFTs, like I kept holding NFTs for the longest time. However, on October 3rd, 2025, I did exit a big chunk of my crypto and NFT position because I saw a downturn in NFTs that potentially would have made me lose pretty much 50%. And I was right. And I shared it with the community on Discord. I mean, the announcement's still there. Shared it. I said literally, I sold all my crypto and NFTs. That was October 3rd. Fast forward 1 week, the crash happened, dropped from 120 down to 100, and then kept going down to these levels, went all the way down to 62,000 on Bitcoin. And so I started accumulating and I started seeing that, hey, we flushed out the first wave that came after the Trump election, all the meme coins that came in, all the hype that came in, all the meme coins that continued, all of that was literally flushed out. The stock market started pumping and started generating a lot of profits for a lot of people. And though that profit is going to go somewhere at some point, right? So you have a lot of liquidity right now in the market that's being generated through profits on stocks, like billions of dollars being generated. But at the same time, you still have a lot of liquidity locked out, where in money market funds, basically because interest rate is still at 3.5% level. And at this level, for you to understand, some institutional investors would be mandated to keep that money inside those money market funds, and they're not allowed to let them to let the money out until that interest rate drops. And there are vague numbers, but most analysts estimate the amount of capital that's sitting on the side right now that's not being deployed at around $6 to $8 trillion. Now, this is not very accurate because there is refinancing that happens. And I'm not going to go into the technicalities right now, but there is refinancing that happens. And so the 8 trillion is including the refinancing. So when you're holding money in let's say in a savings account, instead of just holding it there, you actually lend it out. And when you lend it out, you get some return on it. It's still in your savings, technically, on paper, you're still saving, you're lending it out, and the other party is actually using it for financing into projects or into whatever. And so that 8 trillion is not really 8 trillion. You got to trim around 30 to 40% out of it. And you'd end up with around $4 to $5 trillion in sitting idle liquidity. Okay. And again, numbers are not that accurate. Because we don't have all the numbers, right? It would have been more accurate if we had access to all of the numbers, but some institutions keep those numbers secret. Some funds are pretty hidden, pretty complex structures. So it's very hard, to calculate. But the point is, a lot of liquidity is out there. And to my point on NFTs, what is the easiest way to transfer money right now, to transfer big amounts of money? What's the easiest way? Well, you could tell me crypto, and you'd be right. I mean, if I had, let's say, 100 Bitcoins, then I could transfer 100 Bitcoins. It would take a second. That said, being a lawyer, I can tell you that amount would have to be justified. Unfortunately, we're not in a decentralized world, although we would have hoped we were. We are not. And so you would have to justify that transfer. If I transfer right now 100 Bitcoins to someone, that person would basically have to report, say, hey, I received 100 Bitcoin from Achilles because da. And so I would have to explain, why did I actually send out the 100 Bitcoins as well, right? That's a problem. Why? Because sometimes you don't want to pay taxes. Sometimes you basically don't want to disclose this amount. Sometimes you want to transfer this amount and then maybe hold it for inheritance purposes. So there could be like 100 reasons why you would not want to really, or you would want to justify this amount, but you don't want to go into a lot of details, because sometimes you work in financial services and then you have to disclose even further. And as you know, like when innovation is there, like look at, for example, prop firms. Take prop firms, for example. Prop firms are not technically legal. It's weird. Although we all buy challenges to trade on props are not legal, right? There's no legislation that covers specifically prop firms. So they're in a kind of a grayish area, and that grayish area puts them at the intersection of education and trading. So it's kind of in the middle. And so these props sometimes do want to transfer big chunks of money. So some props right now, there's a prop firm I invested in early on, angel invested, and we're handling their legal as part of my law firm. I have a law firm, so we handle the legal matters for a lot of props and brokerages. And so those guys are literally having you mint your challenge through an NFT, which is an amazing technology. So whenever you buy a challenge, you're actually minting an NFT, which is beautiful, because what you can do with it is literally transcribe on the NFT the result of this challenge. So let's say you win this challenge, then you could potentially sell the account or trade the actual account that you generated, which is really mind-blowing. It's beautiful. I love it. And so it opens a lot of doors. That's my point. And so when you do that, this is where NFTs become something really valuable, because that monkey, right, that ape, that monkey becomes all of a sudden a vehicle to transfer maybe $500,000 to someone. Because if I want to sell it for 500 and I find a buyer who's buying it for 500, then we have a deal. And no one can tell me, hey, why are you sending $500,000 to someone? Bro, I'm not sending 500,000 to someone. I'm actually selling that NFT and receiving 500,000. And that NFT, we decided that it's going to be worth 500,000, right? Which is what happens today in art. You could ask any art dealer. I collect art. I collect paintings. I've been collecting paintings for the longest time, just like I collect cars. And the more you can basically put value, monetary value into an asset, the more that asset becomes valuable. Do you get it? So watches, right? Audemars, you know Audemars Piguet, like the watch, right? So Audemars Piguet, like if you buy a Royal Oak and an Audemars, You pay basically you pay around $42,000 in retail, 50,000 in secondary, 50 to 55 entry level Royal Oak, right? But guess what? Guess what? That watch is holding a value. So if I decide to move from one country to another for an emergency or for whatever reason, I'm holding that watch. I land there, I sell it, same thing. I get my money. It holds the value. No one can tell me, hey, how did you get the 50,000? Well, guess what? I sold a watch, right? Same thing for collectibles, for TCG, for Dragon Ball. Do you know, like Dragon Ball, Pokemon cards, do you know that like 80%, that's a study I read, 80, I'm not sure of the numbers, but it's an interesting study. 80% of the people who trade Pokemon cards literally have never played the game. They've never played the game. They actually, I'm assuming they don't know how to play the game. And even if they knew, they never played it. So you cannot imagine how valuable instruments become when they can hold more and more value. Well, take NFTs, instant transfer, provability, because guess what? When you look at cards, like I'm gonna show you. Wait. So let's take this, for example. Let's take this. Hang on, I wanna show you. So how do you know if this is a real AP or not? If I show it to you right now, right? If I show it to you, well, guess what? You would not know. It could be fake. It could be a fake watch. Well, how do you prove it? I've got the papers, I've got the box, and I could go to the dealer, say, hey, can you check this for me? If it's real or not, and they're gonna open it, check if the screws are in the right place, the mechanism is working correctly, etc., etc. Same for the cards. Is this card real or not? Or is it something that I actually created, right? I could have gone to some copy store, some shop and did it, right? It could have happened. So how do I literally prove authenticity of those items? Well, guess what? I can't. And this is where it becomes interesting. This is where it becomes interesting. NFTs do not face this problem because provenance, authenticity is literally embedded in the technology. And this is why I am bullish about NFTs. I literally talked to that friend of mine, circling back to the beginning of the conversation. And I'm going to end with this point. And I would appreciate if you subscribe, follow on X. By the way, if you subscribe to my X account, I share stock trades. So that's only for stock trades. If you trade stocks, we're doing amazing results. No financial advice, but I would appreciate if you want to subscribe. Those who subscribed, they could tell you. I'm not sure if anyone is watching this stream, but they could tell you in chat the results that we've been making. We've been doing amazing when it comes to stocks. So if you trade stocks, it would be interesting to at least get a glimpse of what we're doing. Now, circling back to the last point, I'm going to end with this point. So I was talking to that co-founder of that financial firm who happens to be a client of mine. He told me, bro, what do you think about Ethereum? We talked about the repricing of gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum at the 200-day moving average, and all of the technology that's coming in. And I said, I told him, my opinion, you should stack ETH in NFTs. This is, in my opinion, this is the best hedge. And you're going to ask me, you're going to say, hey, but what if NFTs drop to zero? Well, they could drop to zero. But the flip side is, do we think that CryptoPunks, the first ever, not the first, some people would argue the second, but the most prominent collection to come to NFTs is going to drop to zero with all of those OG collector holders, institutions, funds, major collectors, billionaires. A guy literally was putting in worth like $5 or $10 billion was buying CryptoPunks throughout the beginning of the year. Do we think these guys are dumb? Do we really think that these guys are just gonna throw $100,000, $200,000 into a JPEG just like that, just because they believe that like NFTs are gonna go up without doing any kind of research? I doubt that. To be honest, I really doubt that. I do not believe, and I've been in circles. I lived in New York, was part of a lot of groups of financial gurus, Wall Street traders, hedge fund managers. We service them today. My firm services two of the biggest banks across the GCC, financial institutions in New York. So I kind of know how people think. And I know that the fact that you could hold value in NFTs, the fact that you have some teams that are basically building that brand, right, will make NFTs valuable. Some of the NFTs valuable. I mean, if we look at Pudgies, come on, the business is generating north of $50 million from toys. And those NFTs, if Luca tomorrow announces a buyback fund, just a buyback fund. Imagine there's a buyback fund. How much are Pudgies right now? Pudgies are around, we could check. Let's check. I mean, we could check just to get the number. Probably $13,000, $14,000, right? How much are Pudgies right now? Where are Pudgies? Why is OpenSea putting in the trendy ones, not the top ones? It's crazy. Okay, anyway. Where are Pudgies? Okay. Okay. Pum, 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 pum. And then let's see all of the tokens. Collapse start, compare table. I think we can go to table. Pudgy penguins. Okay, got it. So Pudgies are sitting at around 425 ETH. So that's about $10,000, right? That's about, to be sharp, exact. That's about, it's opening up. That's about, sorry, $8,500. If tomorrow Luca would announce some kind of buyback fund for live on NFTs, yeah, I'd love to do a full live on NFTs, of course. Yeah, MK, thank you so much. I didn't see your comment, so sorry. So I would have saved time on this shit. So imagine he announces a buyback fund from the revenue that the business is actually making. So can you imagine like $8,000, $10,000 per NFT, buying that back is nothing, Every million buys back 100. If for the next 10 years, they're buying in 100 on a yearly basis, so literally keep buying, that's 10% of supply. That's 10%. No, that's not even 10%. That's like 12 or 13% of supply. And that's a continuous buyback program, right? Imagine this happens. And at the same time, the brand is growing. So a lot of people want to be part of the community. Let's say they announce a collector profile, right? Where people start collecting points and Pengu for holding, maybe not Pengu, but at least points for holding a set of penguins. You'd have to have one penguin, one little PUBG, and 8,888 Pengu, or 88,888 Pengu, or 88,888 Pengus. So nearly 1 million Pengus to get certain badges. Do you really think that collectors, I mean, I'll be the first, I'm going to tell you, like, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to tell you honestly, I'll be the first to make sure I have all those badges. Why? Because I collect. I'm a collector. And what better way to collect than to collect NFTs that are basically limited because there will only be an OG Pudgy Penguin, an OG Little Pudgy, and Pengu, right? So you'd be collecting, you'd be part of the community, you'd get access to certain perks, and you'll create all this ecosystem. So I'm not worried about NFTs. I mean, it's gonna go down, and I don't care. I stopped looking at the floor when I understood that teams started understanding what is the value of grails, number one, collectors, number two, right? Suddenly now collectors are valued in communities, right? They've been valued, of course, and a lot of people were very respected in the space, but for the longest time, grays were kind of in this grayish area, whether we give them importance, we give them priority, or we just say no. Floor or grail is the same thing for us. It's just access. And now things have changed, right? Yuga changed the game with the grails OTC. You've got Pudgies looking like more and more like a collector item. Wizards do hold premium over others. Grails do hold premium over others. In Azuki, I think people started realizing that even though like we could argue about like what's happening with the Azuki, but I really think they're playing the long game, and I think those grails are gonna have value moving forward. I really deeply think that they're gonna hold value. In terms of badges, Azuki is still by far, bro, by far. Grailbot was released 10 minutes ago. Seriously, Bibbot. Hope they will. Wait, Grailbot for what? Grailbot for what? By Yuga? Bitbot for what? For Yuga? Oh shit. Please don't tell me for Yuga. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, you can no longer buy grails at floor. If someone dumps a grail or wants to sell it, there's a Bitbot that's gonna buy the grail. If this one drops, so look at this. They launched a Bitbot for grails, right? So let's say this is listed right now, or any other grail, right? Or considered grail. What's gonna happen? Oh, I'm gonna check it out. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. I'm gonna highlight actually your, yeah. So what's gonna happen? Obviously, those grails suddenly now have a higher value because you know that the bid is there, and the bid is not gonna be the floor, and it's not gonna be the bid for the floor, and suddenly floors are literally meaningless. If today MK was asking me, like we had a back and forth in comments, and he was asking me at what price would you buy Bored Apes. I made a mistake because I said 5, but actually if I was to find a nice ape today, I would buy it today. If there's an ape I like, and I'm gonna check right now actually. Shit. You FOMO'd me on that Bitbot, bro. So if I was to find a nice ape right now, I'm gonna buy it. I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna buy it. So apes are sitting just above 8 ETH, probably going down to 7. Who cares? Like literally, who cares? I mean, if you're flipping the floor, yeah, you care. If you're holding long, I mean, the nicest ones are sitting at around 10 ETH right now. The nicest, coolest ones are at around 9.5 to 10 ETH. If you want to get a grail, like a really top-notch grail, you're looking at 13 ETH for a top-notch grail. Floor is irrelevant. People are gonna, even the team is gonna probably, or someone's gonna buy back. Wow, there's a beautiful one at 15.8. Token number 4145. Robot sailor with the glasses. Beautiful one. Anyway, guys, I need to head out for dinner, but it was great having you on the stream. It's my first. So make sure to subscribe. And I'm going to be doing those starting next week, talking more about stocks. I'm going to be super honest. I'm going to be talking more about stocks. It's going to be more about what the market is doing, but I'm also going to include NFTs. Why? Because I believe that if I talk about stocks, I'm going to attract people who trade stocks, and then I'm going to introduce them to NFTs. So those guys are going to be reluctant at first. They're not going to understand what NFTs are. And I'm going to explain what NFTs are. And I'm going to push them to actually buy their first NFT. I'm going to say, listen, you join a community. There's an intangible value in holding an NFT and joining a community and being part of a group and literally interacting with this group and then opening doors through this group and actually building friendships. And MK, someone has never met. We, on a daily basis, we GM each other on a daily basis. I've been seeing this guy for the past 3 years on a daily basis, part of my life, without actually being part of my life, without actually ever meeting, right? Hopefully soon. But like, and so many others. Captain Zwingli. I go on his spaces. I enjoy having a conversation with Cap. I DM him, have a conversation with him about certain topics, but somehow we've never met. And that's the beauty of NFTs. It gets you access. I literally met a guy in Pudgy Penguins, started trading stocks together. We became basically buddies in stock trading. And so my point is, I'm going to share stocks, introduce people to NFTs, and my streams are going to be mostly 90% about stocks, stock trading, which is what I love, which is my passion, which is what I do, analyzing companies, looking at numbers, looking at earnings, looking at potential trends and narratives in the market. But at the same time, I'm going to allocate 10% of my stream to talk about NFTs. And that's going to be it. So if you are interested in this content, would love your support. And thank you so much for this first kind of episode. We're 92 on the stream. Beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much for that. And so I did this like literally, I just improvised. I opened the stream and started doing it. And I was very excited about it, to be honest. So, and it flew for 42 minutes. And it's going to be around 1:45 to 1 hour on a daily basis. So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for being on this stream. Super happy. And again, I mean, if you are on X, super happy. If you are on YouTube, super happy as well. And I'm gonna send my Abstract wallet to Merab, who's gonna be helping me out with the engineers down at Abstract, and we're gonna see how it goes. Maybe have some Pengu tips, huh? Since I'm accumulating. By the way, I'm accumulating Pengu. By the way, for those who are interested, I'm on a daily basis. I'm buying Pengu on a daily basis, and my plan is to buy Pengu on a daily basis for the next 423 days. It was 523 days. It was 540 days. Now it's 523 days. So I have a plan for 523 days. Every day, I'm going to be buying Pengu just for the fun of it. So yeah. Good to see Apes doing interesting stuff. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for being here, and catch you guys on Monday. Have an amazing weekend and talk to you soon. Cheers.